Hey everyone, it's Tuesday evening, 5 p.m. and I'm super excited to be here with you to talk about a subject called cluttered life. And I think one of the most important things in life is to have a clutter-free mind. But let me begin by asking you a few questions. Do you have in your home overflowing wardrobes? Or does your house look like a museum? Or do you have bags and envelopes and cartons full of stuff that you believe you will look into someday and clear them up? If the answer to the question is yes, then you're here for a treat, because understand one thing, that if all of these things in your house are cluttered, your surroundings are cluttered, it's going to lead to a cluttered mind, and a cluttered mind unfortunately leads to a cluttered life. And in fact, a clutter in your house or your surroundings is one of the major or the first impressions of how depression sets in. A lot of people who ask me this question, that Nidhika, can you give us a simple example of depression, or how do I know I have depression? The first thing I say is, you have a cluttered surrounding, and that's the first sign. Of course, there are other signs, like you may not feel like taking bath for a while and all of those things, but today we're going to stick to the subject of a cluttered surrounding. So how do we begin by decluttering? Of course, there are 2 points to this. One is removing the things that you do not need, and second, not purchasing something that you don't need as well. So, there's a point that where you are right now, you have things in your home. How do you get rid of the ones that you don't need? And second part of this conversation today is going to be about how to cut them at source at the point of shopping itself, right? So how do we do this? Very simple. If you're beginning to declutter your surroundings, begin by any corner in your house. Most people have clutter in their kitchen and in their wardrobe. So if you prefer that, you can begin with that. So you start with one corner and start boxing things up. You put them in box of yes, I need it, no, I don't need it, and maybe I might need it someday. And all the yeses, of course, you get to keep, and all the no's, let's be honest, let's give them away. We don't need it. If it's good to use, give it for charity. If it's not good to use, you can give it to the Raddiwala guy and earn some little money on it. Yeah, you can do that. And all your maybe cartons or maybe bags, you want to stack them and keep them in a storeroom or a cupboard, and you want to revisit them in the next 6 months. If in the next 6 months you have not pulled out that thing and used it from that carton, now it goes into the no category, and you can give it away for charity, or again, sell it off to somebody. So the most important thing to understand is what you have not used for 6 months is something probably you don't need in the house, and have a 6-month rule about it. If you don't use it, you give it away, and give it away for a good cause, so you actually feel good about that. The other thing you can do is, a lot of times you have these just in case items in the house. Just in case I might need it, right? But if you have a just in case item in your house, I want to give you a 10-minute rule, or a home delivery rule, you can call it that way. If that item, when needed, will be available to you within 10 minutes radius of where you are, where you're staying, or it can be home delivered to you, you do not need to stack it. Because it's only just in case, right? So it's going to be 1 in a million chance that you're going to need that thing, instead of filling your drawers with unnecessary things like nails and screws, which you don't need every day, and they can be called for in home delivery. You don't need to stack these things. You can just call and ask for them when you need it, right? So you can get rid of those things. The other thing you can do is have a rule of 1 in, 1 out. What does that mean? Every time you buy something, you make sure that you want to take something out as well. So let's say you want to buy a new dress, decide which dress is going to come out in place of that. If you want to buy a new gadget, understand which gadget is going to come out in place of that. So always have a 1 in, 1 out rule. You're putting one thing in the house and removing one thing in the house from the house as well. The next thing you want to do is have a charity box, like a monthly charity box. Every time you spot something in your house that you think you don't need, put it in that box, and at the end of the month, give it away for charity. The next thing you can do is digitize your home. Now, we have a lot of paperwork which we don't necessarily need, but we keep stacking it. Scan them, put them on your laptops, put them on cloud, secure them so that they cannot be misused, and remove these paperwork from your house and make basically your drawers, your study tables clutter free. The other thing you can do is digitize your CDs, cassette tapes, DVD tapes. You know, if you're anyways watching everything on, say, Netflix or Amazon Prime or your cable TV, you don't need these things anymore. So put them on a pen drive, get them, rip them off, put them on a pen drive, and get rid of the DVDs, and especially the cassette tapes and the record players. A lot of people stack these old things because they have nostalgic value. But honestly, maybe you can keep one for nostalgia, maybe even frame it and make a painting out of it. But other than that, you can remove them from your drawers. You don't really need these things, okay? Likewise, if you have children in the house, you want to go visit the toys and see, does my child really play with this toy? Don't get emotional. I bought this when he was 2 years old, when he was 3 years old. The child may be 15 years old right now, and you don't want to stock these unnecessary things, and instead give the kid the place to keep the things they need right now, and donate these toys for charity. In fact, take your child along and do these things, because they will feel good about somebody else being able to use these things. That's something you can do. Second is, at the point of purchase. So how do you stop yourself at the point of purchase? Number one, buy only what you need. So if you're buying something, ask yourself the question, do I really need it? How am I going to use it? How often am I going to use it? When am I going to use it? And all of that, right? So ask yourself questions before you purchase anything anymore, right? So cutting it from the point of source itself. Second, focus on quality rather than quantity. Now, why is that important? A lot of people tend to buy, they go for these cheaper brands because they feel they can get 3 things for the cost of one expensive item. But a good quality item in your wardrobe, in your kitchen, will last you much longer, will look great on you, will make you feel better about yourself, will make you feel abundant and rich. So don't go for quantity, go for quality in your shopping. That's another thing you can do. The third thing you want to do is stick to a budget. Okay, somehow when we go to shopping, especially on the weekend, then we tend to go overboard, and especially with plastic money coming in, we tend to swipe our card and think we will never have to pay. It seems so easy, and everything can be put on EMI. So even though there's a lot of sales pressure, like a lot of people in the sales staff will try to put pressure on you that it doesn't matter, you can get it on an EMI. Please do not create debt in your life unless you're buying an asset. If you're creating a liability in your life, it has to be to purchase an asset. If you're creating a liability or an EMI to buy things which are, not going to even last you more than a year, or which are going to depreciate the moment they're out of the store, that's not a good investment to have EMIs and liabilities on, right? So you do not buy those things under any kind of sales pressure. The other thing you want to know is, are you shopping for as an emotional outlet? A lot of us use retail therapy to deal with our emotional challenges. If you feel that you're one of them, then you have to find a friend, talk things out, or come to a life coach and talk things out with them, and basically find other healthier ways of dealing with the emotional challenge, other outlets, more creative outlets, which are actually going to give you relief and not give you symptomatic relief like retail therapy. Again, one in, one out. So every time you're purchasing something, think, what is going to go out of my wardrobe? And if you still love that thing that you want to throw out, don't buy anything new. Use that for a little more while till your love for that thing is completely gone. The other thing you want to do is carry a list with you, a shopping list with you. It really helps because you can straight go to the aisles where those things are there, and you don't go here and there because you have a list. So you're very focused in your shopping and you're not buying things that you don't need. Don't get excited with 2+1 offers, because they basically make you buy a lot of duplicates, and you may get very bored of them and may never end up using them. If you like a t-shirt, get it in one color. You don't have to have all shades of it, because you may never end up using it. The other thing you don't want to do is basically be very focused when you're at the checkout point. A lot of checkout points in most stores are basically designed to attract you to do impulsive buying. They put these beautiful things at the checkout point so that you can get attracted to them and buy them. So you want to be careful at a checkout point and don't indulge in shopping at that point. Now let's come to online shopping. Now, online shopping, the first rule you want to have is a 24-hour rule. If you want anything to buy online, put it in your cart and have a cool-off period for 24 hours. Don't swipe your card for 24 hours. Wait, because sometimes you're buying it out of an emotion, sometimes you're buying it out of an impulse, and really ask yourself, even after 24 hours, go visit your cart. If you still need that thing, if you still feel very strongly about owning it, then of course swipe your card and get it, but of course don't create debt, as I mentioned earlier. The second thing you want to do is, shopping mall doesn't shut online ever. It's 24/7 open. So you have to have your own curfew. Don't stay awake, don't kill your sleep. going through these brands and going through online stuff and just skimming through things and killing your time. Just go focused shopping, have yourself a curfew time of when you're going to sleep. Of course, pay off your credit cards on time and don't create debt. And one last tip that I want to give you about decluttering is declutter your time. A lot of us end up, misusing our time. We only have 24 hours in a day. If you want to have a more soulful, more mindful, more, life, more peace of mind in your life, start your day with priming yourself with some amazing, tools like meditation, with journaling exercise, with, writing out your goals for the day, your gratitude journal for the day, or expressing what you have to, and exercise, and do these things in the morning. Set yourself on path and make sure within your 24 hours you're not cluttering your time with things which are not necessary, like scanning your SMS every 2-3 minutes, or just going through your unnecessary replying to every single message that shows up on your WhatsApp, right? Or looking at every video that shows up and having the need to respond. Don't fall trapped to the FOMO syndrome, which is fear of missing out. So don't be scared about that. And if you can just manage to declutter your time and declutter your surroundings and ensure that you do not get the clutter back. Of course, it can be very overwhelming in the beginning, especially if you're a shopaholic or if you like things filled up in your home. It's going to be overwhelming, but trust me, if you can just do that, you're going to have such a big breathing and happy surrounding around you that's going to clear your mind, clear your thoughts, and set you on path of what is it that you really want to achieve in your life, and it'll get you back on track. So that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for everybody who logged in. Thank you, Isha, Jennifer, Manish. I saw Rinku log in earlier, and a lot of you, who logged in earlier. Thank you so much for watching. Do share this video if you thought it was of use to you. I'm sure it will be used to your friends and family. So, happy sharing, and do leave me a comment if you'd like to tell me if you have a different decluttering hack that you use and you love it, then that's something that you'd want to share with us in the comment section. Or if there's anything else that you'd like to talk about or you'd like to ask me about this topic, I'll be happy to answer. So leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. And if nothing else, then I see you next Tuesday, 5 p.m. On my FB Live with another great topic, which is going to help you make your life a little bit better. So see you guys next Tuesday. Love you all.